I'm coming to you from Chicago as usual, and we've got a heater over in front of Judge Manning. We've got an attorney who just can't behave himself. This is kind of fun. Everybody sent it to me. Thank you very much. Also, before that, I grabbed one from Judge Stevens where he's trying to save civilization. He's trying to help a defendant, although she doesn't seem to think so. And that's an interesting one as well. So let's get to it, shall we?
Sure, bring Freddie Huff. Go ahead, Mr. Walls, before we're going to bring out a next case, but go ahead. You weren't here this morning. You're on mute, Mr. Walls.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Forward email communication. I have been in communication with.
Okay, hold on a second. Can't hear. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Yes, I've been in communication with Ms. Watts and Attorney McCullough. It was my understanding that it was made clear I wasn't going to be available today, and that we were looking to schedule another date.
Yeah, you'll see this communication with Ms. Watts didn't go well.
I haven't received that date as of yet. I think it was a miscommunication to where I was under the impression in lieu of filing a conflict letter. Ms. Watts sent the email requesting available dates along with Mr. McCullough. So I think that's where the disconnect was at. And actually right now I'm on bed rest. The case that I had in South Carolina today, I had to have that continue. Either way, I wasn't going to be in this court today. But I am on bed rest. My doctor is supposed to be sitting upright at the moment. And I have my doctor's excuse. So I think it was just a miscommunication on, I think, my part. I work in a lot of different jurisdictions. And procedurally, every jurisdiction does things differently. So I was under the impression that I was excused once I made it known that I had a conflict, and I was included in the email communication with Mr. McCullough.
Okay, so Mr. McCullough can't excuse anybody, one, but there's, under 4.2, entrance of appearance and pleadings, and your appearance, duties, withdrawals, attend, and remain, you got 4.2 and 411. There are rules under the Georgia Superior Court rules that you have to do at entry of appearance. You have to file a conflict. There's never a waiver of conflict. I didn't excuse you. One, if you're on bed rest, I get it, but you got to communicate. You still, I told you to put your contact information on the State Bar website. It is not there. We told you to correct your email information on your pleadings because it is not there. So your email is incorrect. Number, and the final thing, I was advised by Ms. Watts that you hung up on her. Stop. Never.
You want me to ask
don't stop, Mr. Walls. She said you hung up on her, so don't call Ms. Watson. Okay, hold on. Okay, rule one, don't interrupt me. Do not interrupt me. If you were accidentally disconnected or what have you, doesn't matter. You do not speak with Ms. Watts like you did. When you're speaking to Ms. Watts or anybody in my office, you're speaking to me. So unless you want to talk to me like you talk to them, put yourself in check. Smile. It's not funny. I'm this close to holding you in contempt, Mr. Walls. This close. It is not that hard for you to put your contact information, which is required by the rules that you put your contact information on the State Bar website. I told you. Ms. Watts told you. I checked it just a few minutes ago. It's still not on there. And your email on your pleadings that you type is wrong. Your email that you type on your own pleadings is wrong. Your website does it. There's no way to contact you. Well, it looks like you're a little bit put off talking to me, but in the meantime, your client's been here waiting on you to appear. And they said if you had a conflict, you had to file something and give some more dates. I saw the interactions, but you didn't respond with any dates. Well, I am so sorry. I am taking up your time, Mr. Walls.
I'm listening to you. I just don't appreciate your tone.
Mr. Walls, do you think I appreciate you not showing up in front of me when you've been notified twice to come here? You don't put your own information I'm muting you. You don't put your own correct contact information. I told you personally on the phone.
I don't appreciate your tone. Ooh. That was not the play.
Correct your information on the state bar. There's never a waiver of a conflict letter. And then you didn't respond to them, giving them dates where you were actually going to be available. Who does this hurt? Your client. And I hate that you don't appreciate.
Is he talking to someone else, or is he just going to town thinking he's still being heard here? That's my question.
The tone, but I don't appreciate you showing a lack of respect for this court. You may not respect me. You don't know me. You may not like me personally, but you'll respect the decorum of the court and the fact that I'm in charge here today. This is the people's courtroom, and you don't talk to the people like this. But it's funny. So we're going to set this up for a contempt hearing, too. What date are you available? Yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to see about a contempt hearing. Ms. Watts, give me some dates. It could be on the same day we bring him back for his prelim. I've had an officer here 2 times, Mr. Walls. 2 times. And these officers are busy. As you can see, yesterday they responded to a mass shooting. So we take these officers off the street, make them sit in this courtroom and wait. Who's the officer on this case? What date are you available, Sergeant?
As long as it's not a Monday or Tuesday this month.
As long as it's not a Monday or a Tuesday. Miss Watts?
May 11th, next Thursday.
Next Thursday, Mr. Walls. Think you can make it? You're on mute. I muted you because once again, you were talking over me.
May the level works for me, Your Honor.
I didn't even hear what you said. What did you say again?
I said May the 11th works for me, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Watts, what time?
9 a.m., Judge.
All right, we'll also put that on for the hearing on civil contempt. I'll send you the wording for that language for the civil contempt hearing. We'll hear you on contempt then, Mr. Walls. Make sure, once again, I'm advising you for the final time, contact the state bar and put your contact information on the state bar website. It's required that it be there. Number 2, check your pleadings because you type out your email completely wrong. Your contact information is not correct in Fulton County, in Odyssey, and Georgia e-file. You need to correct that yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll look for the notice.
Well, you're going to have to explain it to your officer. So, I mean, your own client why you can't be here. So would you like to stay on and talk to him after this hearing and explain to him why you're not here, why we're not going forward? Because it's not really my job to do that.
Well, he's been notified through his sister that I had a conflict on that date. So it was
No, sir, there's no conflict filed. There is no conflict filed in this case. So you can tell people all day long, but there is not a conflict that is filed. This is all I have to go by. The last thing you filed, once again, was your motions. And once again, it had the wrong email address on there.
Like I said, I already explained to my client, so no, I declined to explain to him. I could set up a visit with him to go in more detail. Otherwise, I see him on the 11th.
See you on the 11th at 9 a.m. All right, let's go. We got, this is Mr. Huff. Raise your right hand. Detective.
Okay, so it seemed like he made progress when he came back and said that date works for me, but then his body language was slipping back to pushing back on her. The judge is absolutely right. This also gives a nice contrast to the Kim Gardner situation. Look at this. This is probably a preliminary hearing. This is what the judges are mad about. In that trial, in the trial in St. Louis, You've got a veneer of probably 50 people. You've got defendant who needs their day in court. Maybe they didn't do it. Maybe they did, but they're entitled to a trial. You've got the victims. You know, it just shows how much worse that is. This right here is bad. He deserves contempt for his behavior. But we're talking about a preliminary hearing. She's upset because one officer got his day wasted, which she should be. Which is totally appropriate. I'm just making a relativity argument here, just to give you. This is typical stuff. If you're going to act like this, you know, I've seen this from time to time. I've never seen anybody just blow off a jury trial. I've seen attorneys answer engaged, meaning I'm in another jury trial. I've seen that a million times. But, you know, so here I think what we had was a preliminary hearing. This guy just doesn't show up. And to his credit, he tells them he's got some issue. But we know there's a problem because he hangs up on Miss Watts, who apparently is Judge Manning's assistant. So he previously got an answer he didn't like or was told to do something he didn't want to do. And his response was to hang up. Anyway, so she holds him in contempt. She sets it over for May 11th. He can still get out of this. If I had to guess, I can't speak for Judge Manning, but I've seen enough. I've seen enough of her. I feel like I know her. He could walk in with an apologetic attitude, have his addresses and emails updated, say, "Sorry, Judge, it wasn't my day," and she would probably purge that contempt on the 11th. That's my guess. But he can't walk in there with this attitude. He cannot walk in there with this attitude, or he'll get a sanction. She's not going to put him in jail over this. I doubt. But she could, you know, here's a $500 fine, or do something or other. They have pretty broad contempt power. This was contempt, clear as a bell. My guess is she'll give him an opportunity to purge. He just needs to show up to that hearing with all of the stuff done that she was just talking about and a good attitude, and he'll be fine. All right. Next we're going to, I see Iris. Iris, tell me if we got a verdict in that case. I went over to Judge Stevens' room to see if we got a verdict in our armed robbery case. I didn't see that, but I ran across this, and it's fascinating. Judge Stevens trying to save civilization from its imminent decline. It's something.
You swear? Thank you, officer. I'll see you then.
I don't know who he thinks he is, talking to anybody like that. Your Honor, listen. You're going to agitate me if you lie to me. I saw you. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you one last time. You are going to agitate me if you lie to me. I saw you.
Okay. You have a sworn I can listen to evidence.
Who? The defendant? Okay, that's who you're going to call? Okay, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear, or best you can, your other right hand. Yeah, that. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Okay, lower your hand. Okay.
Would you identify yourself by stating your full name and spell?
And by the way, we are here in two matters, and I guess the cause numbers here, it looks like indictments have already been handed up. 23 CR 0022 and 0026. In 22, you were charged with the first degree felony of aggravated kidnapping, and it says facilitate. And I guess being a party to is what is in.
I don't know. This is therapeutic for me. It's a sad case. It is, but Judge Stevens is so appropriately disgusted with this. It makes you feel better.
Referred there to a kidnapping. I don't. Facilitate was not listed on the title of that statute, but it's the aggravated kidnapping section that's referred to. And then in 26, it's aggravated robbery. And each of these are first degree felonies, which carry with it, if convicted, no less than 5 nor more than 99 years confinement in prison or life imprisonment, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. So in these cases, You have called the defendant and you may proceed.
And just to be clear, Your Honor, these are hearings on the relief requested in the writs, the habeas corpus.
That's what I'm looking at. Looks like you filed petitions for writ of habeas corpus. Go ahead.
Would you identify yourself by stating your full name and spelling your last name?
Rebecca Foyle, Foyil.
Did you have a middle name or have you
Diane.
Rebecca Diane Foyle?
How do you spell your last name?
Foyil.
Do you know about any other names or is that?
That's it.
What's your date of birth?
March 12th, 1995.
What's your criminal history?
One simple assault.
Misdemeanor?
Yes.
Without a conviction?
I pled no contest.
So it was a conviction. Was that in Jefferson County?
Yes, sir.
What year?
Regularly.
How old are you, did you say?
28.
When you had,
Whose court was that in? Do you remember the court?
Judge Stevens.
Ma'am?
no, we were down.
Judge who?
Misdemeanor? I just see Judge Stevens and misdemeanor.
This is Judge Stevens here. Is this
God bless you. That's just, yeah, I do felon, but actually I can have, I do handle misdemeanors as well, but you were in my court?
Yes.
Do you remember me?
Yes, sir.
Well, we must have,
It was brief.
well,
I
it
didn't
must have been
actually-
men.
It's Judge Woods.
It was
Judge
Judge Woods.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's no good.
Judge
All right, in any
Woods-
case,
Judge Woods would like to know he was mistaken for me.
So
I was
here's-
mistaken for him.
reflected in the records. You understand the purposes of this hearing today is to determine whether the judge is going to grant the relief requested in the two writs of habeas corpus to reduce your bonds.
Yes,
And relevant to that, determining, first of all, is your ties to the community here in Jefferson County. Where do you live or where's your residence?
Jefferson County.
Before you went to jail,
Before I went to jail,
where were you living?
I had just moved out of my mother's.
And where were you, what was the address of where you were living?
Oh, Trails on Chubby apartment B,
Have you been a lifelong resident of Jefferson County?
What city?
Jefferson County.
No, what city?
Oh, Belmont.
Have you been are you a lifelong resident of Jefferson County or where else have you lived?
Hardin County with my grandmother.
And so Hardin and Jefferson County?
Yes.
How long have you resided in Jefferson County?
Jefferson County, few years, 2 years maybe.
Thank you.
Hardin County, my whole life.
What city or what town or locale in Hardin County?
Sound Lake.
Did you graduate from, I guess, Hardin Jefferson High School or?
I didn't graduate, but I went there.
Okay.
How far did you go in school?
9th grade.
9th?
Yes, sir.
What relatives do you have residing either in Jefferson County or Hardin County?
Almost all of my relatives live in Hardin and Jefferson. My mother lives in Jefferson, and my grandmother and my father live in Hardin
Should you be released from custody, where would you reside?
with my mother. in Jefferson.
What's the address?
3910 Treadway.
And are they present?
Yes, sir.
Look back, your mother,
My father and my grandmother.
your mother, your father, and your grandmother.
Why are they here?
Just
No, I'm just asking you. Why are they here?
I asked him to come.
You asked. But are they here supporting
Yes.
you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
And I believe they're all local residents either in
Yes.
Jefferson County. or-
She's got a mother and a father there supporting her. Apparently, I mean, it appears to me to just be drugs. It's sad.
How are you employed, or at least what was the last job you had before you went to jail?
My last job was in McDonald's.
You have any vocational training or any kind of special skills, occupational skills or abilities? No.
No, sir.
So minimum wage type of work.
Yes, sir.
What are your financial resources presently?
I have them.
Thank
You have
you.
no money in a bank account, savings account,
No, sir.
type of real estate. You don't own any vehicles, anything,
No, sir.
nothing. Is there anyone available who could help you make a bond or who would be available to perhaps extend you a loan or any type of financial aid in making a bond?
I have my mom and my dad.
And your dad, okay. And they'd help you to an extent?
What are you crying about? Why are you crying? I mean, these are just personal questions. Why are you crying?
It's a lot.
Ma'am?
It's just overwhelming right now. Sorry.
All right, getting back to the subject. What are your bonds set at now? Do you know?
They're each $200,000.
$200,000. Is there any ability on your part to make bonds at that amount with the bonds?
None.
Sir.
You understand you're charged with 2 very serious offenses. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Should the court release you or lower your bonds and you make bonds, is it your intent to come to court after the cases? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's
You intend to come to court, right?
Yes, sir.
You had a bond forfeiture though on your misdemeanor, didn't you? You didn't show up to court, did you?
Yes.
And so what guarantee is it that you're going to show up for something that's a little bit more serious if you won't even show up for a misdemeanor?
My kids.
Did you have children then?
Yes, I did, but I had no way to make it to court. I called ahead of time and they said they would maybe schedule, but they ended up not having rescheduled.
So your bond forfeiture was on August 3rd of 2022, and they didn't catch you till you got arrested for this. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So how long was that?
I did plans on turning myself in. I was trying to get the money together to do a walkthrough.
So you got arrested for this on February 13th of this year. Is that right?
Yes.
2023. So you were gone for several months. And you also participated in this crime, didn't you? You were there.
I did not participate in
Were you there?
it, sir. Yes.
I loved it.
Did you call anybody? Did you stop it?
I had no idea what was happening. I was in the back bedroom. There was argument, but there was no.
So when the complaining witness says you participated in kicking him while he was down,
That is a lie.
Who is the complainant?
He's not asking. Are you asking the?
Yeah, who is that
Okay.
person?
Bobby
Who?
White.
Who is that?
He was a friend of ours and a roommate.
he was hurt pretty bad, wasn't he?
I did not know that until I was incarcerated.
Well, you were in the apartment?
I never saw him. After they started arguing, I never saw him.
They started arguing in the apartment you were in,
Yes, sir.
and you didn't hear all the stomping and kicking and the
No,
screaming
sir.
going on?
And the other girl were in the back.
No, she was in the East Wing.
Who was in the room with him?
Her name's Queta.
I'm sorry, what?
I
Waiter?
think it's Queta. We called her Maybach.
Was
Whether
somebody
her
beat the
was
heck
her
out of the
last
poor
name.
guy? I mean, was it her? That girl beat him up?
No. Me and the girl went to the back bedroom. The other two that were in the room were Lewis and Stephen. They stayed in the living room.
What are their names?
Lewis, Stephen.
Last names?
Oh, I don't know Lewis's last name, but Stephen's last name is Stephen Adams.
How did you know of those people? How did you come into contact with them?
Stephen was my boyfriend, and Lewis was our other girl, the other girl's boyfriend, and we all lived together with
For how
Bobby
long?
in that apartment, at least a few months.
You don't know the guy's last name and in the same
We called
apartment you were,
him.
I'm sorry you interrupted me. Yeah, let me ask the question and you can answer.
Yes,
So you're telling me y'all lived together for 2 months and you don't know this person's last name? Is that what you're telling me?
yes, sir.
Don't you find that kind of incredulous? I mean, hard to believe.
Do you know his last name or
I
not?
don't know Boris's last name. He's the only one I know.
Mars, who's the nickname?
Lewis, Bart is the nickname. That's what we called him.
So what was the argument over?
But he had
Who's he?
Bobby White. He showed up. We thought something was wrong. We thought that he had done a bad drug or something. He was acting weird, and so we said we were going to call an ambulance. And when we said that, he freaked out and started calling both the men names and stuff. They got into an argument, I guess, about him being fine all of a sudden. And even Adams told us to go to that bedroom, so we went back there. And I didn't ask any questions, I just went.
I'm a little fuzzy here. You got 4 people living in the place?
Five.
The victim evidently, was she saying?
The victim lived there as well.
Okay. Can you name each of them and tell me what did they do for a living?
Stephen Adams we were homeless
that.
together. That was my boyfriend.
I mean, I can't
But,
verify it.
What did he do for, what was the
What did he have a job?
No, sir.
Okay. Who was
I think
next?
that's a logical assumption.
Lewis, he
What did he do for a living?
worked at the Steak and Shake
Every day?
every day for the most part. He had been off for about 3 days, but he was working every day. Yes, sir.
So our testimonies, we got 5 people in an apartment. One of them works at Steak and Shake part-time. Judge doesn't like it.
And Equetta, she used to work for an insurance company.
No,
but
what was she doing at that time?
Everyone was there.
No, work-wise.
Work-wise, she didn't have an occupation.
And what
Who
about
else?
the victim?
The victim, he didn't have an occupation.
Judge Stevens goes full sweet Jesus there. This isn't funny, but watching Judge Stevens trying to cope with this, he knows what's going on. It's funny. It's not funny.
We can see where this is headed here. So you got somebody at a part-time at one place. Y'all are all living at this place. How do you pay the bills? As though I don't see what's coming here. I can't read between the lines. You're off the grid. So what are you doing to make money?
Equetta had housing, and she paid for all the bills.
Government was
We
paying.
dumpster dived.
Dumpster dive to eat or to find stuff?
To eat, we got donuts the night all this happened.
Government assistance and dumpster diving, and of course that's all a complete lie. They were involved in crime, and that's how they got things.
Well, okay. The day I turned 16, I started working at 3 a.m. for 80 cents an hour
Yep.
because I just thought it was normal to have a desire to be independent. I don't
Preach it,
understand
brother.
this. And I've worked ever since when I wasn't in school.
Mm-hmm.
But I paid for everything, and I'm not special at all. I just think that was natural instinct of all humans to be independent and not, ride the backs of everybody else. And here you are in a bad situation. But who obviously has made some bad choices, right? Okay. Well, it's never too late to fix them until it's too late. If you're going to prison for life or something, you're behind the 8 ball. But these are a bunch of people who are existing off of everyone else. If they're not, making money off the grid in a way that happens all too often in this courtroom.
We'll stop you as soon as we disagree, Judge Stevens.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not Pollyanna. It happens over and over again. There's a common denominator who ends up here. It's not people who are working hard and who have responsibilities and families that they need to take care of and understand and appreciate that because they don't make those bad mistakes. So here you are. These are 2 life sentences here that you're looking at. Well, but where did you think this was all going to head? I mean, what was your master plan in life? Y'all weren't doing. Yeah. Why weren't people, trying to get jobs? Why weren't people at least trying to get some kind of a skill and education to be independent? And why?
Well,
Ultimately, he's trying to scare her straight right now. Who knows if it can work, but that's why he's taking the time to do this.
I mean, that just seems like normality to me.
I was trying to get a job that I really wanted.
But when was the last time you had a job?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. All right.
There ain't mental health counseling, NHMR, spending time, you've been there.
That seems like that. In jail.
Before that, did you go to NHMR at all? No.
Have you ever been treated for a personality disorder or anything like that? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious myself. Yeah, you're trying to look for an explanation here of why you're failing in life, and it's all fixable. You know, get a job. You know, get a skill.
I want to do that.
Yeah, get going.
For
You know,
analysis.
get out. Yeah, and also hang around people. Or your parents good people? I'm sure they told you you're only as good as the worst person you hang around with. They're going to drag you down to the low common denominator.
Yes, sir.
That's why you always want to hang around with people who you think are even better than you. So they help pull you up and become better. There's something more though to all of this.
And just for the
I mean, I know I've done this long enough. I can snip it in the wind. There's something else that that I'm not being told.
That's the misdemeanor. I mean, it's the misdemeanor.
You using drugs, man? Illegally?
I was, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. You mean until you got put in jail?
No, I was quit prior.
What drugs were you using, man?
Be honest.
Methamphetamine.
Methamphetamine. Well, those aren't for free unless you're making them. Where'd you get them, man?
Friends.
Well, friends. Friends like that. Who needs anything?
I would get it when people would offer
Look,
it to me.
Those are valuable commodities off the grid. I know that. They don't do anything for free. Those aren't the kind of people who are benevolent human beings and are trying to help you. They're going to use you. So it costs something. Where are you getting the money for that?
Didn't have to pay for it.
I know. Well, you don't have a job. Okay. Well, this isn't very good, is it? This underlying misdemeanor counts here. That's a bit disturbing assault complaint.
and another roommate. So
I'm reading the report on the assault. And it says assault, family violence, roommate. And this is a very disturbing thing here. But it's not unusual for somebody who would react in a bizarre way to methamphetamine. Where do we
I'm getting methamphetamine vibes, as Judge Middleton would say.
start on this?
Well, if the court, again, I don't even if the court even lowers your bonds, it should be able to make them, but I would say drug pass and give them referral management law. It's a condition of the bond.
I'm not sure that that's really a problem. It's this, accepting a conventional method of success. You work, go out and get a job, put an effort in, and also finish your education as well.
You're good, Mom.
Okay, great. But that too. But you're not helping your family out by being here. You're not helping your family out by assaulting the roommate. And you've got some people and a lifestyle that you're existing in, which is not healthy for anybody who's dependent upon a responsible parent. But you know, make better choices at the end of the day. These are all choices that people can make. You can make the right choice or the wrong choice, but you're responsible for your choices.
Yes, sir.
I know you agree with me, but I know you don't appreciate and understand that because you are 28 years old,
Yes, sir.
28 years of age, and here you are. What can you say about it? I mean, you've been an adult for 11 years. What's the state suggest?
Judge, I don't know what to do since you wouldn't show up for a misdemeanor court. She's got a similar offense prior to this.
Yeah, the bond rules are this. From the statute, nature of the offense and the circumstances under which it was committed are to be considered. And these two most serious allegations of first-degree felonies don't help you.
Yes.
The statute also goes on to state the future safety of a victim and the community shall be considered.
Thank you, John.
This is the second assaultive set of behaviors that you've been called onto the carpet for.
Yes.
Other aspects for a bond include your work record, which you can't really brag about, family ties and ties to the community. Well, you seem like you have family ties and ties to the community, but they're not helping you make right choices because you're not working with that. Ties to the community are supposed to be the ties to the community and family are where they, by their choices, are good role models that you are following. Well, if they're good role models, you're not following them. And again, you're 28 years of age.
Yes, sir.
Prior criminal record, well, we've got an assault of authority. Whether the defendant has previously complied with bond conditions or not. And aggravating factors in the charged offense. Well, these are, by their very nature, aggravated offenses. They're even called that the name of the crime because it's.
Your Honor,
I'm just. Well, let me finish the record.
Since he's a 3G, I think he probably can deny bond. Period.
Well, yes, it's just. I'm just completing a record here that the allegations in the four corners of the indictment are very violent in its nature and in each case.
We would just ask with her obvious, I would say remorse. I think she does feel remorse about what happened in her particular situation, the totality of the circumstances that the court considered at least some type of reduction from 200,000 each.
I intend to do that, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be substantial under these circumstances because these remorse, everybody comes in here and tries to appear remorseful. It's kind of, those factors, remorse isn't even mentioned in the statute. Because if it were, everybody would come in and go through the motions. And that's not what helps this situation. There are things we've already talked about that need to be fixed. And until you can convince me that you have a serious plan that you're going to actually not only talk about, but have impressed me that it can be implemented, I'm going to reduce these bonds $50,000 to $150,000 each, which still make it, I know, like Mount Everest. But these are the factors of bond that are set forth in the statute, and the case decision under that statute are all negative for you. You do not help yourself by what you have done. So what I do is make a plan and implement it, and also convince. You have been convicted of a felony yet. And so it is here at a time in your life where this is fixable, but it's as though you've got one foot over the precipice and the other foot is on a banana peel. That's how serious all of this is. And it needs to get worked out to where if it's not going to go to trial, which you have a right to, a plan otherwise is going to have to be convincing to me with many aspects to it. It's like we're trying to fix you from the day you were born, because I don't see much here that you were showing that's worthy of the allowance to mix with the 7 billion people on the planet in a free world. This is Manson family kind of existence. You got to fix that. We had somebody like that yesterday.
That's some Manson family stuff. You got to fix that. Oh, it's good.
Well, there's another lady, different group, but they did nothing, and they ended up killing someone and burning the body. And yeah, well, it's from your hometown.
Well, I represented the one.
Yeah, I mean, it's all too often we're doing this situation over here, ma'am. Over here. This is where the focus is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's your family you're looking at, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's never too late to connect back with the family, but just don't. Yeah. Why don't you treat them as family and take into consideration and enact and enable some of the habits that they may have tried to impress upon you that were good, good lessons, because this isn't hard. It's just right choices versus wrong choices. All right.
Okay.
What's the next event here?
I'd like
Announcement?
to get this letter so we can figure something out.
All right. Why don't we just see if something can be worked out
Not
without a
today
trial? If not,
necessarily,
but
we'll get something.
This is a very disturbing case that needs to get resolved here. Okay. That is all.
I'll talk to you.
Elijah Gill is not.
Well, there you have it. They weren't particularly funny today, but still parts of it were funny. I like Judge Stevens. He was trying to talk some sense into her. Who knows if that'll ever work? But he was giving it a shot. He had an opportunity. He thought, I'll spend a little time with it. Maybe she can make better decisions and turn it around. Who knows? And and the attorney in front of Judge Manning, he'll probably be okay but he's got to switch his attitude and fix his stuff, and he's got to have a little contrition. I don't like you show up an hour and a half late to court and tell the judge you don't like their attitude. It's a bold strategy. It's not a good one. Thank you. I think I have to do just that. Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it. I will see you soon.